political Cold War between former Kaduna State Governor El-Rufai and incumbent Governor Uba Sani has taken another interesting dimension, with the Kaduna State House of Assembly constituting a 13-member committee to probe financial dealings, loans, grants and project implementation from 2015 to 2023 under the ex-governor of the state, El-Rufai. Recall that last month, during a town hall meeting with stakeholders, Governor Sani made a shocking revelation on the financial position of the state. He said he inherited a huge debt totaling $587 million and 85 billion naira, besides 115 contractual liabilities from the previous administration, making it difficult for him to pay workers' salaries. He explained that 7 billion naira out of the 10 billion naira federal allocation due to the state in the month of March was deducted to service the debt. The disclosure about the state's public debt now pitches the camp of the former governor against the present governor, leading to war by proxies. Reverend Dr. John Joseph Hayab is joining us now on the show as the immediate past he is the immediate past chairman of the Kaduna State Chapter of Christian Association of Nigeria. Good morning and welcome to the morning show, Reverend Joseph Hayab.
Thank you for having me, and good morning to Abati and our friend Hussein.
Well, Reverend, it will be nice to have your perspective on this subject, but I just hope you will start by making it clear that you are not particularly a friend of Nasir El-Rufai. Because I recall that when he was governor, there was that regular attack on Christian communities, you were one of his major critics. And now, after his tenure in the state government, he's saying he has questions to answer. The House of Assembly is saying he has to come and explain what happened to resources, loans, projects, and his children, at least 2 of them, have gone after the state governor. But I just want your fair reaction, not that you see this as an opportunity to deal with that governor who was against, as you alleged then, the Christian community. Your take.
Thank you very much, Abati. In the first place, I think I need to make this clear that I am not ElRufai's enemy, and I'm not sure El-Rufai is my enemy. El-Rufai is somebody I know very well, and he knows this if he's watching. El-Rufai is someone that I have helped, I have supported, I have stand for, I have defended. But my principle is that if you are doing right, I will tell you you are right. If you are doing wrong, I will tell you you are wrong. And the simple reason is that you must have friends who are able to tell you the truth to your face. I think what happened during the last administration is that there were so many cowards around who were not courageous enough to speak to power and tell the governor some of the things that were not going right. But most of the conversations surrounding then were about the killings, the attacks. But the reality also, we also had some conversation about the projects, the loans. And so what is happening today is a great concern to all of us. For me, Uba Sani came into power and realizing that the state is segmented, the state is divided, the state is not at peace. And as a gentleman, as someone who wants to lead the state with a difference, he chose the path of uniting the state. And you can't unite the people without talking to them. And at the course of talking, there are certain realities that begin to show up. Oh, what is happening to our roads that have not been completed? What is happening to the projects that we are not seeing them ongoing? What is happening to salaries that workers are telling us that you are not paying salary? And you know, you can't actually unite people and then with deceit, you have to be truthful. So I think Uba Sani in his wisdom felt, okay, let me be open to people and tell them the reality on ground, that at the time I took over office, this is the state of our loan. At the time I took over office, this is the state of our liabilities. At the time I took over office, this is the kind of situation we're having as it has to do with the monthly allocation we receive, and that's why I've not been able to meet up my responsibility. And so to me, there's really nothing about it. It's simply for El-Rufai and those involved to know, oh, wait a minute. Probably he has not, Uba Sani and his team have not taken a good time to read the handover note, and then they can come forward and clarify to us, no, but in the handover note page, so this fact is there, this fact is there, and also in so bank, this fact is there. The whole issue as if it is an attack, I don't think it is. I simply understand that there is a need for leaders to be accountable And because you are called to account do not mean that you are being accused of stealing. Neither are you being accused of doing something wrong. It's simply tell us what happened so that we'll be in the know and it will help in our future planning. Because the town hall meeting is to guide and help the governor in whatever he's going to do, carrying everybody and every stakeholder along. Because in the past, though we had town hall meetings, but it was a selected town hall meetings for friends and people who will come and praise singers. But this time around, it was open for beyond the praise singers. So Ubasani just said what is real. And simply El-Rufai and his team or whoever represents him should just come and explain to Nigerians or Kaduna State people. But let me commend the Kaduna State House of Assembly for coming out of the cold. In the past, they were so timid. The fact about it is that so many things, like the day this motion was raised in the House of Assembly, the previous speaker said something. I have not had people digesting it, but it shows that something was wrong that time. The speaker said, we were not in agreement. There were certain things we disagree, but he always have his way to get it done, because there was also no good relationship between the House and the then governor. So how comes did we get all those money? Because according to practice and law, a governor cannot just collect such huge amount and claim to have used it for our state without the House approving it. So what went wrong? So this investigative panel or whatever ad hoc committee is not just going to investigate El-Rufai, but also House members and the leadership at that time will explain to us what happened, that you belong to the House and certain things were done without your approval. How could such money go out of our state and there is no approval of the House of Assembly, or procedures were not taken to make sure that it is done according to law? I think these are the kind of issues we want to see discussed than the attacks and the, as if it is a fight. To me, there's no fight there. So El-Rufai was our former governor, but at this time, we are simply saying there are issues not clear. The roads we claim to have worked on have not been completed. Why the liabilities? The issues surrounding even the loan. We knew very well that the loan was for urban renewal. And this process of administering that loan is not to just give out the money. The documentation of the project needs to be properly done, approved by the State Executive Council, then the money will be given to the contractor. So what went wrong? And that's why I like, when I read the letter from the House of Assembly to the Commissioner of Finance, I just pray that they will go beyond just writing letters and be serious and be transparent and be honest, so that leaders will know that a day will come like this, that you'll be called back to give account of your stewardship. And I think that's simply what El-Rufai is being asked to do. And I pray that the Assembly will stand their ground and ensure that that is done and done right.
Well, thank you very much, Reverend. You said something very important, that beyond probing or investigating former Governor El-Rufai, it's also for the people to hold to account members of the Assembly who were there during his tenure and under whom these acts happened, these actions happened. How do you hope to go about doing this? Because that would be great. A lot of times we talk about active citizenship, being involved in governance beyond just the vote. How do you hope to do this?
Because we don't know the report that is going to come out from that ad hoc committee, we just hope that they will be transparent enough and open opportunity for those who have answers to some of the questions to come and give answers. By the time report comes out, we will understand whether, first, the loan that was given had a proper approval of Kaduna State House of Assembly. And then the projects that were executed, we will also know from the report whether they also went through proper approval of the Kaduna State House of Assembly. So what we're actually doing is that we've just started a journey of trying to unravel what happened in Kaduna State in the last 8 years. Why and who is responsible for what. But beginning with the government presenting papers to show what did we do. Why should we just 6 months or 8 months after change of government, and we are being told, or almost 10 months I would say now, change of government, we are being told that our liabilities is that huge. And the projects, for those of us who live in Kaduna, go to Kaduna, you will find out that the roads have not yet been done, because the project was for urban renewal. The road from Sabon Tesha to the Mobile 1 police barrack and to Coca-Cola is terrible. Nothing is there. It has been like that. The fact that just one part of the road was constructed and they brought Buhari to come and commission, knowing that the larger part of the road was not done, and they abandoned it. Today, people are suffering. When you drive there twice, you have to visit the mechanic for hours and you are spending money. So we are going to unravel these things. Since the assemblies are representative of the people. The people have a responsibility to ask them further questions after the first report. But for now, so that we don't jump the gun, let's get the first report. Let them answer the questions the assemblies or present the papers the assemblies have requested from the Commissioner of Finance, and it will lead us to more questions. But if we have clarity, we may not ask further questions.
Okay, if we have clarity, we will not ask further questions. I want to talk about, prior to all of this, the system that even makes it possible in the first place for us not to have accountability in our society. That's the shocking part for me, because always, all the things we talk about are always after the fact. So how can we bolster systems, like in Kaduna, for instance, where we have so much accountability that people cannot just take unilateral decisions? Because that's always the problem. I mean, we're talking about Hayab this morning. It's always after the fact, after the incident had been done, allegedly, and all of that. How can we put those systems in place where there's a level of accountability? That's number one. Number two, I also like to talk about the state of religious, relations now in the states. Is it better now after El-Rufai left? What has Ubasani been able to do as regards all of that? Because that is key. I know we still have a heightened level of insecurity in the state, but religious coexistence across the states. Do we have a better breathing space now?
Okay, thank you very much. Let me take your first question. The truth is that I've always advocate and remind people that in a democracy, we gave our governor, our legislators, either at the state, the National Assembly, or our president, appointment letter. The power to employ belongs to the people. We vote them and give them that authority, simply so that they will stand as steward, accountable, or managing our resources, managing what our education, managing our health system, coming up with policy that will help us improve as a state or as a nation. Unfortunately, what we've seen happening in Nigeria is that the moment a man comes up and takes out of office as a governor or as a president, he becomes the owner of the country. I'm not sure this Constitution of Nigeria said so. The Constitution of Nigeria talks about we, not him. But today we have a governor thinking he owns us, and that's why people are scared to tell them when they are wrong. That's why people are scared to question them. Let me say this without fear of contradiction. I actually called some members of the House of Assembly to applaud them and tell them they have woken up from their slumber, because some of them talking now were members of the House at the time this nonsense happened. They kept mute. They were afraid, as if the governor will remove them. And constitutionally, the governor have no power to remove them. It is only during the election that we can remove them. I know some of them that I challenged them during that time, and they were angry with me. Why will you say this? I told them, no, you are representative of the people. If the governor is not doing right, ask question on behalf of the people. Interrogate him to know that the people are interested in knowing. But let me put it this way. A good number of those who represent us in either state assemblies and national assemblies are probably failed business people or failed people who have lost certain opportunity, and it is to them an opportunity to regain money. And they don't want to hurt the governor or hurt the president so that the largesse that used to go to the House of Assembly or National Assembly will come. And that's why they don't ask questions. If you, an outsider, begin to ask questions, they even see you as a troublemaker. I asked so many questions that time. I asked questions about security. I asked questions even about this loan. I asked questions about the lack of unity, the lack of peaceful coexistence that was existing in Kaduna. To many, I believe that's one of the reasons why Abati will think that I love El-Rufai. I was among those who advocate for people like him to be governor, but I'm also among those who will tell him out of principle that this is not right. You don't sit on television and insult the people you are governing. You don't speak to the people you are governing as if they are not human beings. You don't instigate people you are governing to be divided. If you do that, then you are not a governor, or you are not doing what is expected of you. And when you took out of office, you took out of office to defend the entire people and unite the people. But that is the situation. So unless we wake Nigerians up to know where the real power belongs, who owns the power, then Nigerians will begin to ask the right question and act responsibly. Let me quickly jump to the second question. I must say, without being fear of someone misquoting me, Ubasani is a deviation from what Kaduna was in the last 8 years. Ubasani is a man who loves people. He's a man, I believe that's part of the reason why this town hall meetings, come up with what you are hearing. Because Ubasani is a friendly person. Let me cite one example.
Are you saying El-Rufai doesn't love people?
No, El-Rufai was boozing over people. I'm sorry, El-Rufai was boozing over people, intimidating people, denying people the right to talk, and that's why we were where we are. I was in Kuriga last week. I was pastor of Kuriga Church in 1994. So when this unfortunate incident happened, I felt I needed to go to Kuriga. And the church is not even there now. The church is in ruin. But I went to Kuriga as a pastor to commiserate with them. And when I told the chief, the time I served here, the names of the people, they were so happy. And they opened up to speak to me. They say, oh, you belong to this community. You need to know what happened. But one thing that I want to say for Nigerians to know, the day that unfortunate incident happened, Ubasani was there 3 hours later. For the mere fact he showed up, even though they lost, their children have been taken away, they were feeling pains, they felt relieved, they felt someone had come to identify with them. Permit me to tell Nigerians that when the 121 children of Bethel Baptist High School were kidnapped, from the day they were kidnapped till the day the last 120 to 121 came, El-Rufai never called any of the parents, El-Rufai never visited even the school, El-Rufai never even talked to the church. He was even looking for an excuse to blame us for what was his mistake. So that's the kind of leadership that triggers disunity. Ubasani is trying to unite the people, so he's talking, he's reaching out. We did our Christmas carol in December, you remember very well. He came. The fact that it was in the night of that Christmas, a night to that carol, that I called him, I said, we have carol tomorrow. I just returned from a trip abroad, and he said, I'm going to come, and he came with his people. Even his men were wondering how, but that's how you reach out to your people and they feel belong. You may not give them everything, but when you show them love, you show them concern, then you are their leader. So that was the kind of situation we have. So there's unity in Kaduna, but there was a manipulation for the last 8 years. Now we are beginning to have restored. Last night, the last person I spoke to before I slept is the chairman of JNI, the secretary of JNI, because the new opportunity for relationship has come and they are reaching out and we are talking to each other. I'm no longer the chairman, but they believe the contribution I can give towards uniting and helping Kaduna State. So that's what we want, and we pray that Ubasani will not deviate from it and continue so that we can first bring back and unite the people of Kaduna as we also pursue to know what happened to our money.
Okay, very quickly, Reverend. Is Southern Kaduna more peaceful now than it was previously? In December, there was the bombing, accidental bombing, just hold on, accidental bombing of, a village. I think it was Tundumbiri village in Southern Kaduna now. So what is the situation in that community? That was ahead of Maulud, or around the Eid Maulud period. And number three, these investigations and the trailer that seems to have passed between Senator Ubasani and former Governor El-Rufai. You recall that they used to be friends. In fact, Ubasani was supporting El-Rufai and vice versa. And Shehu Sani was on another side. What do you think went between them? What went wrong? Or this is just simply a question of transparency or accountability? Where is the public interest in all of this? What is the catalyst? Public interest or political differences? Relationships going sour?
Okay, number one, Southern Kaduna is a little bit calm and there's progress. Efforts are being made. Within the last few months, Ubasani have visited Southern Kaduna many times. He has commissioned projects. So the people are beginning to feel, oh, wait a minute. They have remembered us. And if a leader comes and remember you, naturally you give him chance, space to see if he's genuine. And so that's why things are calm. And two, effort are going on by security agencies. And we must commend the current security leaders that they are doing their best to ensure that they nip what is happening. You remember even before the bomb at Tudunbiri, there was an incident in Fadan Kamantong. I remember the Reverend priest telling us that, look, that night that incident happened, the National Security Advisor reached out to him. So it shows that there is a change in the pattern and the effort to identify with people in need and then defend them and protect them from future attacks. So that's why for now, Southern Kaduna is peaceful. Tudumbiri is in Central Kaduna. I think we'd have to put this in the right perspective. Tudumbiri is in Central Kaduna. The fact that it's on your way to Biriningwari, not in Southern Kaduna, is in the central of Kaduna. So you are going towards the north to Biriningwari to find Tudumbiri. The village head called me also last week. I've been talking with the pastors there because we are trying to see what can we do to unite the people despite the pains they had losing their loved ones and then whatever happened. We want to see that we build structures that will unite them. And I'm happy with the relationship between the pastor there and the village head. I also spoke to the district head. I'm so happy that there are efforts. You see, because there is a willingness from the governor, people are beginning to find a way to connect with one another. And so the attitude and the action of a government is enough to unite the people. And a wrong action of a government can also lead to division because enemies of peace take advantage of such actions and continue to perpetuate evil. But you know, I've told people that even the spokesman for Obasani is a deviation from yesterday because anytime there's an incident, he will speak with a language that will calm you and you will want to see the next action from government. But in the past, the language and the rhetoric of addressing the issues is attack and accusation. And that's why a man who has lost his wife or brothers or sisters due to bandit and you are accusing him, naturally he will be angry. So that's why there's a shift from that. The second question, if I get it, but let me just answer them randomly, is the issue whether the relationship is sour due to public interest or political difference. I don't think there's a political difference between Obasani and El-Rufai. The little difference is that Obasani is a people's person. And El-Rufai was not a people's person. He was someone who knows everything, so he doesn't need you. He gathered around him some people who lack basic experience and were praise singers. So even when he's wrong, they were just praising him and they don't have the courage to tell him, no, correct. Obasani seems to have elders around him who will say, hey, don't do this, don't do this, people will not like it. And I'm happy that he's listening. So that is the difference. But have kidnapping and banditry stopped in Kaduna? No. It's just the attitude of government to victims' family, and to the community that is giving a difference today. And we just hope that we will build on that and continue completely eradicate all this evil. Because when people unite, they can eliminate criminality. But when people are divided, criminals will continue to come to them one after the other, and there is really nothing they can do. So Uba is calling for people to help him. Uba is calling for people to work with him. And people are willing to work with him because he has given the enablement and platform for such work.
Reverend, very briefly. You have just said
yes.
Nasir El-Rufai is a Mr. Know-it-all. You are saying he's an arrogant man. But, I mean, you are a man of the cloth. How about his sons? Two of his sons have intervened in this matter. One even accused the governor of an absentee governor, you know, who should face governance. The other son in House of Representatives said the House of Assembly is looking for a fight. You teach the Bible. You know the relevant passages in the Bible. Would you like to address that briefly?
If you don't, if you don't train your children in the way they should grow, when they grow up, they will continue to misbehave. Unfortunately, you know, children learn from their parents. So when children grow up in a system, in a family, in a community, within an environment where disrespect, arrogance, foul language is acceptable, they would think it is a norm. Sadly, that's what we are finding. So El-Rufai and his family have a great work to do because they may have their way now, but tomorrow these things will hit back. I think these children need to understand the difference between family and governance. One of his sons did well when one of his brothers accused the governor and said, no, I'm not going to do that. Unfortunately, he quickly spoiled his good action by now insulting the assemblies we voted for. Because insulting our assembly is insulting us as people of the state. But for me, having known them for some time, I don't think I need to waste energy about them. I just realized, show me a man and I'll tell you who are his children.
All right. Very, very, very deep words, Reverend. I don't know if I have enough time for... All right, we don't have any more time, but just finally as you wrap up, because Rufai, and you'd responded to a very pertinent question, how do we begin to repair relationships? A lot of damage has been done in the last 8 years in particular, within the northern Kaduna, the people, people feeling aggrieved. What is the path to recovery?
Yeah, we have started work. We are mobilizing. We are working with the Kaduna Peace Commission. We are working with the governor. Recently, he hosted an interfaith peace dialogue that brings about faith leaders all over the country and traditional rulers to begin to talk to local communities about unity. You see, people just want assurance that, yeah, we are accepted here. Yes, this place belongs to us. We are also respected and recognized here, and they will change. It may not yield result immediately, but positive results have started coming. It will take us time. I work for an NGO called Global Peace Foundation. We promote that human beings are one family under God. And that's the slogan we're telling people. Despite what has happened, let's remember our common humanity. There are many Muslims who will not share in this evil. There are many people, even in El-Rufai house, who may not share in this attack and bad governance. So we can't generalize, but let's be careful not to divide people, because when you divide people, you will pay for it tomorrow.
Well, thank you very much, Reverend Joseph Hayab, for joining us on The Morning Show.